Welcome to Animation for All. My name is Nathan Adams. I am your host. This program is presented to you by Shamble Studio. Greetings everyone. Welcome to this Blender tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to be doing the creation of a star. And to begin, we're in Blender 2.63 version, and we have the default cube and we want to get rid of it. So let's press X to delete, Shift A, add mesh, circle. Alright, and then if we go into our object tools, you'll notice that we have add circle, vertices 32, radius 1, fill type nothing. Let's change the fill type to n-gon, and we'll change the vertices from 32 to 5. Alright, and now you'll see that we have this pentagon shape. So if we go into our top view by pressing the numpad 7, and then we get 5, then we get top ortho. Now we zoom in, and then we go from our object mode, which we're currently in, tab, and we are now in edit mode. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make a perfect 5-pointed star using these 5 points. So starting from this point, to 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 this point, what we're doing is we're skipping vertices so that we can get our perfect 5-pointed star. And to get that, we're going to draw on this object by pressing K to do our knife tool. So from there, we start with this vertex up here at the top. And now, we skip this vertex, go down to this one, and once we get it into the illuminated point, we click. And then we repeat the process at each of these vertices. And then we're finally at the top vertex, and then we can press enter, and we are all done. And you'll notice that each of these points where there was a crossing, there's a vertex added. Now that we have our star shape, what we can do is that we can actually take these edges off. So we do Control Tab and go from our vertex select mode to edge. Now let's take each of these outer edges by right click, Shift select, and once we've gotten all those edges, X edges, and now we're left with just this star shape. But I want to do one last thing. I want to get rid of this centered polygon, and I want to make all of these into four-sided figures. So we're going to go Control Tab once again, Face, select that one by right clicking, X, Faces, and then we'll go back to Control Tab, Edge, and we'll get each of these edges, and we will W to subdivide, and then Control Tab, Vertex, and we just want the middle vertices here, 4, 5, S for scale, and you'll notice they're scaling now, 0. I put 9. Alright, 0. There we go. And then we want to get rid of the doubles so that all that we're left with is just one vertex right here in the center. W, and then we go down to remove doubles. And there we go. And now we have this star object that has nothing but quadrilaterals. Each of these shapes has 4 sides. We tab out, And now what we'll do is we want to give this a little bit of a 3D property, because if you notice, when we get out of the top perspective, or the top orthographic, it's flat at certain points. And we want to give this a 3D quality. So what we'll do is we'll add a modifier, and this modifier is going to be Solidify. Now right now we have an offset of -1, so it'll go downward. And I would actually like to take this so that this shape is in the middle of the shape, meaning the flat shape is in the middle of what's going to be solidified. So we do an offset of 0. The thickness, I want to give a little bit more. So let's do 0.25, a little bit thick. Let's say we take it down to 0.1. Yeah, I like that better. So let's do 0.1, and there we have a solidified, extruded star shape. Now, if we were just to look at this, going from Blender render to Cycles render, I like Cycles render because I can get real-time rendering results without actually having to do the render. We look at our rendered viewport. We have a gray background with a gray star object. Pretty drab looking, right? Let's get out of this rendered view, go to Material, and then let's look at our world view, and then let's use a color that's got kind of a bluish tint to it. Let's do that. Okay. So it'll be dominated by blue, so it has kind of a dark blue sky look. And then our star object, we want to give this meaningful names. So right now our star says circle, and our material says just material. Our mesh data also says circle. What we'll do is we'll take all of these objects and name them star. And we'll be using these in another tutorial that I'll show you later. So now that we have that name star, let's do Control C as we're hovering over this, and then Control V as we're hovering over this, and the object. And then finally, in the material, Control V, and we have star. And now, with this star object with the material selected, we use nodes for this. Now you'll notice this white star, and I'm actually going to give it a slightly yellowish hue. Alright, there we go. Now let's take a look, and now we have a rendered view. And not quite a whole lot here, because obviously we did it with this dark blue sky, and we have no light source really that's pointing to it. We have something, but it's really faint. So let's go back to our material. And you'll notice in our scene that we have this lamp object. So now, if we go down, we have this lamp object. Right now, we have a size of 1. Also, what I want to do is just increase that. And now, go to our rendered view. Now you'll notice that we have a light source. If we zoom right into it, go back to our material so we can get a closer look. Finally, we'll look at our rendered view once again, and then we can also adjust these values. We can get to 10. Alright. Also, if we use nodes, then we'll get a better strength with it. So if we say 200, now all of a sudden we get this brighter effect. Now I'm actually going to take it all the way up to 1000. Alright. And then, last thing we'll do is that we are going to take the camera right above the top view. So we go back to our top orthographic, and then what we'll do is we will align the view, align active camera to view, and we want to align it so that it is centered. So go with X0 and Y0. And then the last thing that we'll do is that we are going to just take this object and let's do a quick rotation on it. So we're going to insert a keyframe right here, go up to frame 49. That'll give us 2 seconds. Then we'll say a rotation of y-axis 360. I to insert. And then we'll have the end of this animation all the way at 73. So at 24 frames per second, in 2 seconds, we will be able to rotate this star completely, and then at 3 seconds, it will be the end of the animation. So, let us begin the rendering process. Thank you for watching Animation for All. This has been a production from Shembol Studio. For more information, go to shembol.blogspot.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter.